Okay, so I want to draw as I explain this. So there's something I have understood through experience about mirror reflection, um, projection, and duality. Okay. And I go back to 1 + 1 is 3, and I'll get to that eventually. So we are, as we are all one, we are all one in this universe, in this earth. And if you think of millions of people on the earth, we are all interconnected, okay? We are interconnected between, small groups in different areas, different parts of the world, but we also then connected, as a whole within that. And each group is also interconnected in a way, okay? And what happens is I'm going to bring this down to when you join a group or a class, when you are in a class for sometimes even for a day or a few hours, but when you are in a group for a long period of time, a school group, a learning group, a healing group, any group, office, when you are in the office with someone, with a group of people that you work, even as a teacher and a group of students, everyone will be reflecting back to each other, okay, in some ways. And this is what we call the mirror. So there are things in ourselves that will reflect outwards, okay? And that thing will come from a subconscious level. So I'll use that as a subconscious. And it's working in the background of yourself. So every action that you take, that will be some sort of subconscious action behind it. People call it agenda, but you can look at it as agenda, but to be honest, agenda becomes a very negative connotation. So, but I do want to say that this is what drives your actions, and sometimes we're not aware of those actions. So your action is projected out, and as it's projected out, it will hit something. It will hit a mirror, and usually it will affect people that will have something similar in their subconscious, also driving their action, okay? And as you know, in the universe, there's the law of attraction. It's a magnetism that we create within duality. But duality doesn't have to be opposite. Duality can be as well the same thing. So we can be attracted here by the same thing or the opposite, okay? We can also be attracted by conditional love or unconditional love. And this is all the variations that a mirror image can occur. It, regardless what it is duality because it's coming from two parts. This space here creates tension, lots of tension, okay? If what's being shown, what's being projected to this mirror here triggers this person to then react back, so it can be a reaction, yeah, because it's coming from a subconscious of something similar, very, very, very similar on the two sides. So as you have a reaction, tension is created, okay? And usually tension is created when the action is coming from a conditional state, anything that we put a condition to. if someone is acting out of their subconscious, they're not aware, but there is action out of their subconscious. And the action is out, but not as a projection. And I'm going to talk about projection in a minute. Sometimes what is reflected on this mirror here can be touched by unconditional love. And this person here are able sometimes to see through the mirror into their subconscious and realize what is it that action could actually have triggered them. Okay, their reaction can be slightly different than previous situations without projection, without reaction. So their action will then show a light back into this person, which then reflects back in the mirror, back in the subconscious, and then something out of here will be seen. So projection is anything that we project out of a trigger moment. If you're feeling triggered and you react on that trigger, it's a projection. So for example, you are feeling rushed. You're feeling rushed and that triggers you. You don't like to feel rushed. On the subconscious, there's something that would happen in the past that, you know, you're forever pressured to be rushed and you don't like that. You just know you don't like it, but you don't know why. So someday someone else comes and rushes you and that triggers you and you say something back to them, right? That's a projection. Or somebody does something that makes you feel less than. Okay, then the idea is that you might want to go back to that person and say, listen, I didn't like the way you spoke to me because that made me feel so and so. But what made you feel less than comes from your subconscious. It doesn't come necessarily from what that person did. It comes from the subconscious. But we see it as projected off them. So then we project back to them. You make me feel that way. But that person might not even see it that way. One person might say, but all I did was this. How can that make you feel less than? Yeah, because that person is also being driven by their own subconscious about something else. So it's very, very complicated when we start projecting things out of other person. I think projection has its place. Okay, if projection is coming from unconditional love, it can make a massive difference to someone's mirror. But I think if it comes from conditional love, it can create tension. And when you create tension, you are stuck in that cycle where you're always stuck in that same situation, that you react the same way, and then things happen the same way. The minute things happen different on that same situation, that's when we start to see all the perspectives. Okay, so how to avoid that tension, right? However you think anyone made you feel a certain way, first of all, we have to think that that person didn't make us feel that way. We have something stored in our subconscious that felt triggered, and therefore we brought a feeling upwards to the surface where we felt that in ourselves. So basically we're allowing ourselves to feel that. The subconscious is trying to tell you something. The subconscious is trying to tell you that a certain situation brings up a familiar feeling. Something happened in the past that made you feel that way, that for the first time ever. And since then, there has been coping mechanism to deal with that. So when the situations come up later on in life or keeps repeating itself and you feel the same way, you feel the same way, you feel the same way, but it's coming from so many different people and you always feel the same way, it's impossible that all these people know how to trigger that feeling in you, right? So obviously that feeling stored within your subconscious and it keeps coming up to the surface every time someone acts a certain way or talk to you a certain way or does something a certain way. So what we need to understand is use those situations and those trigger moments to look within yourself. So as you look within yourself, you will start to understand that the pattern of how you feel is there, and where is that coming from, and dig into your subconscious. And there are many different tools that you can use to do that, but one of the best tools is a simple question: why do I feel this way? And the question needs to be done and performed out loud in your own voice, with conviction, with intention to know. Okay, you want to know, so you want to ask with intention, and you want to ask to yourself. You want your subconscious to hear it from your own voice. Your voice is the most powerful thing you have as a tool. The minute you ask that question, a little gap in the subconscious is open, and that answer will come later on. A lot of the times we forget we asked. We forget we asked that question, and the answer comes, and we sometimes don't link back to that situation. We struggle to link back to here. But as the situation comes back up again, somebody triggers you, the subconscious in there with that little bit of gap open. When you get into that same situation, you will see what's coming out of the subconscious to help you understand why you feel you're that way. Okay, when it comes to the surface, at that moment, call it aha moment, could be a click moment, yeah, whatever you want to call it. It's a moment of awareness. It's a moment of realization. Yeah. When you get to that point, your reaction, your projection will be different to that person. So this is the person. Your reaction or situation will be different to that situation. The mirror doesn't work the same as well anymore. It's a completely different reaction. It's a completely different projection. So the mirror between you two does not work the same anymore. So the outcome will be different. And as the outcome is different, you get to see a different timeline or perception. And as you see a different perception, it starts to help you understand, right, I can see where that comes from now. So it gives you information. It gives you information about yourself, about where that subconscious situation is coming from, what reaction or feelings are coming from. Okay, so when we're talking about a mirror image, okay, if it's coming from conditional love, most likely there'll be a lot of tension in there before anyone is able to see what's being reflected back at each other. And it has to be seen within the subconscious. When it's unconditional love, when either party or sometimes one party is sitting in unconditional love, the tension doesn't exist in here. So you have there's no tension. It goes right through the subconscious of each other. Right through it. It's a straight line right through it, which then opens something in the subconscious immediately, and both are able to see themselves in the eyes of unconditional love. You're able to see the reason why you feel that way with love. Sometimes when there's tension here, that tension goes back, hits the subconscious. Something might open or something might not. It might go backwards again. But if it opens, sometimes we struggle to see things in love, and sometimes we see things in guilt, self-guilt, self-blame, self-shame. And that process add up to the realization that you can see yourself in love. It's just an extra step. Just an extra step. And that can be so tiring, stressful, unnecessary as well. So when we are in groups, it's very important to understand how to connect to your own heart and how to be in that light of unconditional love as much as you can. When you are in groups, you want to be able to see your own mirror, to see the reflection of yourself on others. Sometimes it's the easiest way to see within yourself, but you want to be able to be there in unconditional love so that your process is much quicker. Is that straight line back into your subconscious, being able to open something up and then be in love with yourself, in love that you're able to see something beautiful. Yeah. When we are in unconditional love like this, to be able to see ourselves in unconditional love, it's so much easier to forgive that version of yourself that once was feeling less than. It's so much easier. It doesn't mean that, it skips the self-guilt for feeling that way. It just skips. It goes straight into self-forgiveness. And the self-forgiveness is a sign that the healing has been completed. If you find that you understand a lot about yourself, you are in self-love, you are in understanding, but you don't get to the point of self-forgiveness, yeah, it's okay. It just means that there's another layer to be seen, another layer that it's like a trauma bond to that same less than. There's another trauma bond to here that needs to be seen, and perhaps might be seen the next time you find yourself in that situation. So for example, every situation, okay, has a mirror image. Every interaction with two people or more, okay? As you work through this mirror image, if you completely healed yourself and you got to that point of, it's an organic healing process. If you healed a situation or a feeling that came up from your subconscious that you were able to see and you were able to work through, by the time you heal and you organically get to the point of self-forgiveness, you don't have to make it happen. You don't have to, I self-forgive now. It's just something that comes naturally. It's a feeling of gratitude for seeing something that you needed to see, and it's very natural, okay? If that doesn't come very natural, you don't want to impose upon yourself that, because that means you are skipping a trauma bond. So if there is a trauma bond, yes, you heal the aspect of that, but you haven't got to the self-forgiveness. Just be aware that that situation could repeat itself again. And you might be asking, I healed that. Why is the situation repeating itself? Okay. And sometimes we can be in this repeated pattern of these situations for a long time because we are so sure that we have healed it. All layers, that we stop ourselves from seeing further into the situation. Yeah. So we have to be very open-minded that first time that we expose ourselves to that subconscious information, that if the universe is bringing you back the situations, that means there's something else to heal that is a trauma bond to that. And it might not be with the same person. It might be a different person that has a different set of their own subconscious information that needs to match with the trauma bond that's still linked to the less than. Okay, so be aware that if the situation is repeating itself, similar, not exactly the same, but similar, but still bringing that slight feeling of less than mixed with something else, perhaps less than, but then self-guilt, for example, and you think, now I'm feeling self-guilt with this as well, that means that there's a trauma bond that needs to be looked at. So sitting in that thought that I've healed it and why is it still happening, it's a good place to be sometimes, because at least you're asking the questions to the universe. Yeah, this is the universe. At least you're asking the question to the universe. The universe is like bringing it to you, all the situations for you to be able to see. So it's about opening our eyes out and say, right, I'm ready to heal this. I'm ready to see. And say out loud to your subconscious, I am ready to see. I was in that situation again. This and this happened. I felt this. I am ready to see. Just like that. And then meditate and the answer will come. So when you then break that trauma bond, the situation will not happen again. It will be a clean slate. The situation will not happen again. And then you know for sure that there is no trauma's bond related to that anymore. Simple. If that person, let's say if you have a relationship with someone, so a very close relationship to someone, let's say a partner, and there's a trauma bond that's very similar between the two, and there's that tension in between, right? The projections, okay? But then one day you see what's coming from that projection. You see, and then you heal that which you see, okay? That person, trauma, if yours is gone and healed, there's no mirror reflection anymore, because there's nothing to reflect back on you. So that person is going to find someone else with similar trauma bond to reflect back onto. You be out of the question. However, when you see and you heal and you are sitting unconditional love, most likely your unconditional love for healing yourself will reflect through the mirror and help them see what's in the subconscious. And they have a chance then, they have a chance and opportunity, of course, free will and choice, to see and make changes for themselves. If they don't, they will go back to mirror into somebody else, perhaps in the family or workplace, someone close, to reflect that back to them. You will then be sitting out here and you'll be like, oh, I see. You can see all that playing out. And you will go back and understand why you stuck in that mirror reflection with that person. You will see. Now, let's say you get to see and heal, but you saw it through conditional love. So maybe perhaps there was a lot of argument, a lot of tension here, but that tension bursted in some way that really helped you see. And then, but by the time you saw it, then you felt guilty, blame, shame, but then you healed. You went through all that process, the extra step that I said, that, that sometimes we get ourselves into the self-guilt and the self-blame and the self-shame, but then eventually healed. Even through that, you healed, okay? Sometimes all that projection going back and forth can burst something out on either side of the subconscious. Absolutely, yeah, but it's a much more suffering process, because either can fall into the self-guilt and the self-blame and the self-shame, or just one side might do that, okay? So it's important to hear, it's important to be in unconditional love at all times, important connect to your heart chakra daily, because your heart chakra will always be giving you messages, will always be giving you answers, will always be giving you guidance. And when you find yourself in this tension type of relationship and reaction from mirror effect, the heart will speak louder to you and will help you stay unconditional love. So when you see it in love for yourself. And it's a much easier way to heal, much nicer way to heal. And anything that we allow ourselves to feel, you might be saying, how am I allowing myself to feel? Let's use the feeling of less than. Okay, don't know if it's EOA or OA. So anything that we allow ourselves to feel, let's look at less than. You might be asking yourself now, why would I feel that way? Obviously, that other person made me feel that way. Okay, and it's so easy to feel less than and blame the other person. The blame is projection. The telling the other person how you felt after their actions is projection. Okay? Feeling a victim is projection. Okay? The minute you can feel what you allow yourself to feel, you feel. And then there's a different allowing to feel here. When you realize you're feeling less than, but then you say, you know what, I'm going to sit with this and I'm going to feel it through my body. You're going to feel it all. You're going to feel it all. You are healing. The minute you intentionally say, I'm going to feel this, that I'm feeling right now. Even if you still think the other person made you feel that way, and if you decide intentionally to sit and feel through your body, you will heal that. You will heal it. Yeah? Even if you're sitting on that victimhood that somebody made you feel that, because eventually the answer will come from your subconscious. Now, if every situation you go to, regardless whether you understand this yet or not, and every situation that you find yourself where you felt a certain way, okay? Don't blame yourself for feeling that way. Don't say it's all in your head. Don't say you're making yourself feel this way. What you want to say is, there's something in my subconscious that I'm not able to see, that's trying to come out to make me feel this, so I can see for myself. And once I can see it, I can heal it. Regardless of the projections, or the people's subconscious, situations, or the people's subconscious, regardless how they're coming at you. And it's not about ignoring them. It's not about ignoring them. It's about taking it all in, allowing yourself to feel less than, regardless whether you think you need to tell them, which is a projection. Whether you think you need to blame them, which is a projection. Whether you feel victim, which is a projection. You allow yourself to feel through your heart chakra. So that's when you connect to your heart and you do your heart chakra meditation. The meditation will bring you answers why every time these come towards you, you feel a certain way. You feel it through your body. You see the answer. You heal. Because you're not sitting in victimhood or blame or shame, you will heal and skip the self-blame. You skip the self-blame, the self-guilt, and you go straight to self-forgiveness. When you go straight to self-forgiveness, you know you've healed. And if you don't get there, if you get somewhere to, you know, gratitude or a better understanding of what's happening, it's fine. There's probably still a trauma bond to work. And remember, the situations will come back to you to let you know that there is something else to heal. But it's to feel in your heart chakra, regardless of anything that's coming at you, that you feel is coming at you out of your own, to make you feel horrible. Yeah? What that feeling of feeling uncomfortable and feeling horrible, like everyone is at you, is your subconscious screaming, trying to say to you, there's something that needs to come out. There's something that needs to come out. It's a trauma. It's a point in your life that really hurt you, that really spoke to your heart, and it hurt your heart, and your heart had to shut a little dot, and it stored in your subconscious, and your subconscious has it, and it wants to come out. He wants to come out. He wants to break through. He wants to come out to show you. And as you open that subconscious, stuff comes out straight to your heart, to your mind. See if I can draw a little brain. It comes out to both, because the heart and the mind will work together. It will work together. Yeah? And as the heart and the mind work together in balance, you get the answers. You get the answers. The mind gets the answers, sends to the heart does the healing. Simple as that. There's so much more depth to this mirror effect, mirror image. But the main message here is, the more you practice your heart chakra meditation, we will know how to stay in your heart a bit longer through these situations that repeat itself. Repetitive cycles, repetitive situations, these repetitive feelings that come up. Yeah. You know, sometimes a mirror image comes by you here, okay, seeing someone as selfish. That person is really selfish. Yes. Really selfish. You see that person. That's it. You see it right through the mirror, and you see that person as selfish. Okay? But you don't see yourself as selfish. You don't see it. It's so hidden in the subconscious that you don't see it. But the subconscious found someone from the universe to bring it to you, to show you the selfishness. Okay? There's no tension here, because it's going right through the mirror. There's no tension. That tension doesn't exist. That tension doesn't exist this time, because both of you aren't acting the same way or opposite. You just happen to see something there that's actually in you. It's in you, but you don't see it yet. So that person's bother you being selfish. That person's trigger you for being selfish. The trigger is here. It's not in the middle. Because only one person is getting triggered. If both people was getting triggered, there would be tension in the middle. But at the moment, you're able to see something about that person that you're not seeing it in yourself. This happens a lot in relationships. Can't say any other thing, because you need two to tango. But it happens a lot between parents and children, and usually the children that are more like ourselves are the ones that we are constantly having that trigger and tension. Yeah? So the next time you see someone as selfish, the next time you judge someone as this, next time you criticize someone as that, take some time to ask the question out loud to your subconscious. Remember your voice. You sit in your heart through your meditation, and out loud you ask, why the selfishness of that so-and-so triggers me so much? In that out loud voice, so your subconscious can hear. And the heart will talk to your subconscious and start opening that gap. And the message will come to your brain as a thought. Okay? And then it will drop again back to your heart. And you're going to feel it. You're going to feel your heart expand. And you're going to feel all the sensations in your body. That means you're healing through your body. And if you stay long enough in your heart through that meditation until you get to the point of feeling forgiveness for that version of yourself that did not see the selfishness within, when you get to that point of forgiveness of that version of yourself that did not see the selfishness within yourself, then you know you're healed. You need to get to that point. The next time you go, let's say, to work and you're dealing with that person or a relationship that is there all the time, you will see the person's selfishness with compassion. Because you're able to see your own. So your compassion will come through for that person from you. You will see the person's selfishness with compassion. And the minute you transmute that compassion, that person will see their own selfishness. Their healing will be triggered to start. They will be triggered to start their own healing. And that's another type of mirror image reflection that you can see or feel or understand how to start asking, redirecting the question within. And it's about redirecting the question within. And it's not about blaming yourself because always it comes from me, that me, I'm on the fault. There's no fault because there's no right or wrong. In the universe, there's no right or wrong. There's no right or wrong. The universe, there's only things happening. And they're not classified as right or wrong. They're just happening. Things are just happening. And everything that happens are reflected back to each other in a millions in different ways. Okay? Why do you think we have keyboard warriors now? Because now our expansion of connection to other people in the world are through the internet, through Facebook, through pages, through groups. And all that keyboard warrior that's going on, it's all triggers. People have the opportunity to be connecting to someone in another country through a group and actually understand what's within their subconscious by something someone posted that is completely someone you don't even know, but it's in there in a group from another country, and you getting that reaction, you getting that connectivity all the way through. So the next time you want to be a keyboard warrior, that's a projection. Think about it. Why is that triggering you? Why is that triggering you? Ask the question within. And again, it's not about self-blame. It's about finding out what's wanting to come out from your subconscious to be able to show you so you can see. So you can see why that's triggering you. And if you're in a group, a multicultural group, it will be cultural, it will be ancestral, it could be anything. So take the opportunity, take the autonomy for your own feelings, take the opportunity to heal through these mirror image situations. Take the opportunity to connect and go in your heart chakra for asking questions. Take the opportunity to use your voice to speak to your subconscious. Take the opportunity to receive the answers from your subconscious, from your brain down to your heart, back to your subconscious. Make that in here drive out into the conscious mind. So next time you can act more conscious about it, not because you're being driven by something hidden behind you in the subconscious. And this is how you expand yourself. All that knowledge, all this understanding, this is how you expand yourself, and it always starts here in this connectivity. Yeah? This connectivity. Going back to 1 + 1 = 3. Okay? So you have one person plus another person. Okay? You have one projection from one person, one projection from another person, and the tension in between, so you have 3. And that is if you're not healing. If you are healing, 1 + 1 = 3. So whatever was one projection from one person and projection from another person, and you have the healed state, that's 3. So whether you're healing it or not healing, 1 + 1 = 3. One parent plus another parent, conception, pregnancy, baby = 3. That is if you have one child. But anyway, that's another story. 1 + 1, one projection, 2 projections, tension equals 3 results. Yeah? Projection of one person, projection of another person, the possibility of healing. That's 3. Okay? So next time there's an argument, next time there's projection, next time there are triggers, next time there's tension, next time there is a feeling that comes up to you, you have all the tools. You have your questioning through your subconscious, you have your voice, you have your heart to feel and heal, and you have people in groups that are doing just that. They are in groups so they can feel, see and heal. And this is what my group is about. Not my group, but a group of people that we are together. I'm learning from them. Even through their healing, I'm learning about myself. And we share, we talk, and I offer energy healing sessions for moments that things are a bit difficult to see. So we're skipping the shame and blame, the self-shame and blame. So healing can be a bit easier. Healing can be a bit more rewarding for self. And the more you understand this process, the more you go through a healing process, the more you can do it by yourself. And I teach how you can do that by yourself as well. And having all this perception, all this understanding, how to go within. How do you go within? How do you initiate going within? And that's all part of what I have to offer. So look at the links below in the description. Do the healing consciously. Let's do the healing nice and consciously. Let's let go of all the trauma bonds. Yeah? Let's break down all the situations that the universe keeps sending us to us and find out why it's still coming through. Why the universe is still what the universe is still wants us to see that we haven't seen. Let's help each other. So join my free meditation group. On YouTube videos, there's lots of videos that can help you understand a little bit more about self-healing. You can do it yourself. You can do it yourself. And it's all about heart chakra connection. So you can see. I send love and light, and all the best.